Welcome back, everybody, to week number 4 of College COD. We're playing musical chairs yet again, but it's only for the last time of the night because it's our final matchup. Dandro back here on the mic, but this time we got the GOAT himself. It's Mr. Proper. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's been a long time since I've, been on a CCL broadcast and let alone been on a broadcast with such a prestigious talent such as yourself. First time in the booth with you, Dan. It should be a good one, especially with these two on our screen.
We got New York versus New Jersey. Let's talk about it. Let's take a look at the head-to-head. It's Rutgers Esports taking on Farmingdale State College Esports. We got Rutgers walking on in here with the 6-0. And not only is it a 6-0, but it's a clean map set, okay, across the board. Take a look at the other side, though. It's a 4-2, a very respectable record. But tell me what you kind of look at when we look at some of these map counts here, because that control looks great, but S&D, maybe not so much.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, jumping immediately off the page is that Farmingdale, the Rams, yes, they are very much so undefeated. They've yet to drop a single map. How close some of those are, I have yet to take a deep dive into that Google spreadsheet, but Rutgers is a very tailored college that we've had in the college COD scene for quite some time now, Dan. And I will tell you that they've always been very scrappy, no matter who that they have fielded across the entirety of this. 4 wins is nothing to bat an eyelash at. I would say that Farmingdale are definitely going to be tested, but are they going to lose? I don't know if I could sway that way yet.
It's a tough one to talk about. Let's take a look at the maps because that might give us a little bit better idea. Maybe we can kind of posit some theories and hypotheses here on how this might go on through when we kind of talk about that head-to-head. We're rocking with a Hacienda hardpoint, a Skyline, Search and Destroy, but then we're going to a Protocol Control. And if we get there deep enough, we're sticking on a Protocol for a hardpoint, and we're ending it with a Hacienda Search and Destroy. We just watched in that last series, that Hacienda hardpoint. It's very easy to stay neck and neck, but if you let those fundamentals come on in, it's easy to run away with it. So if you are, kind of coming on in here and you are 6-0, you're probably feeling pretty solid already about when we drop on into this Hacienda.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if there's one thing that this best of 5 immediately screams to me, and I'm sure immediately for the players that drafted this best of 5, is that it's going to be fast-paced. And that's exactly what Hacienda does to you. Skyline, Search and Destroy, it doesn't need more than a single page in even MLA format here, Dan. It's going to be a bang out all the way through all 5 of these maps if it goes the distance. High octane action, a lot of SMG presence, and this Hacienda hardpoint is definitely going to be the first venue that is going to be able to kick off that hypothesis.
I love it. I mean, I'm curious kind of see. Cash and I were talking about it, where I feel like Hacienda hardpoint, it's a great sort of series starter because I feel like you're going to get a good idea. How do these ARs play? How do these SMGs play? Yeah. But also, more importantly, Hacienda, it's one of those maps that if you're able to hold down on those rotations and really kind of think ahead and outwit your opponents, you can really run away with some of these score lines. And when I kind of look at, across the map set, being able to have some of those reads and the ability to make those plates is going to be super crucial, right? Skyline, yeah, we know it's a bang out. We know it's basically who can pull their gun up first and be able to hit the timing, but you can also hit some insane wraps that are there, and understanding how that map plays is going to be super, super clutch. And then especially when we get to that Protocol Control, that'll be even more of a test given some of the recent changes we've had on that map with the B point moving over there towards P2, kind of making it a little bit easier for the offensive side as well. Should be interesting to see how that one plays on out. So in this Hossie hardpoint, I'm kind of curious. Obviously we know that we're coming on in here with Rutgers being 6-0 across the board. It looking very good when it comes on into that map set. But FSC hardpoint, it's been pretty solid for them. It's not anything super crazy when we kind of look at the head-to-head. Sure, you've dropped a couple of maps, but you've still found success. So I think, maybe we learned our lesson from that last series where, you can't always kind of rely on the head-to-head to kind of have us tell the story. Because we got 2 great teams like this, it kind of all gets thrown out the window. Let's be honest. I
mean, especially in an entirety of a league across the nation of how many schools at this point? I've lost track over the years, man.
Hundreds.
It's a lot. Just to keep track of, and scrimming with different teams, depending if you compete in challengers on a week-to-week basis. It's a lot to keep track of. The game's forever evolving, and I think that's what kind of boasts the conversation of what makes a collegiate athlete. Some of these Call of Duty players on our screen here, Dan, just something that you could absolutely write home about it is how much that they are honing the craft. And in a lot of these very icy moments, you will get a lot of that here on Hacienda Hardpoint, our venue starter for this best of 5 in between the Scarlet Knights and the Rams. Should be a good one. A lot of familiar names on the screen, and some familiar names if you've been keeping track of the CCL since the season's begun.
Well, it's an immediate break off to the start. You got Rutgers. They've made their way onto the point already. It's going to be J-Hem holding it on down through, but it's Alendi in the kill feed. Kick us off with 2. 80 some power position here already early on, but Carbonize not going to let it happen just that easy. Jackal PDW in hand. You drop on down. You rip them off the point, and, well, the Rams are going to answer on back.
Yeah, I do love that call just immediately from Carbonize. I mean, he lost all of his teammates, right? But still on a 3-1 start, knew that he had to be the tip of the spear to push on forward. Does kind of flip the spawns ever so slightly, so FSC did accrue a little bit of time and kind of forces Rutgers' hand a little bit. Just try to force their way closer and closer towards that Lambo garage. But you know exactly what the Rams wanted there, Dan. They got it. It's that Lambo control ahead of the P2 rotation.
Yep, I love that you called that out. We've seen time and time again, sort of this P2 pops, you get a full 4 dead, and, well, it's everybody spawning ramp, and they're hitting you from the back, and it's just not able to hold it on through. The Rams are going to let that happen, but look who it is from the front. It's D-Boogie. Absolutely putting the moves on some of these players, and shooting nukes right now, ripping them on off. The Rams, you worked so hard for all of these spawns to hold it on down, but Rutgers, they're doing a fantastic job of finding these early elims to try and open this point on up.
Yeah, sticky spawns, though, man. Rams still spawning into the backside of the driveway. They can bolster this hard point. It's about back-to-back and sometimes maybe that third back, Dan, just to get the spawn unstuck in towards the back. A nice little avenue through zigzag. Rutgers find their way in maybe to contest some back end of this time, but it's all Rams here for P2. A lot of good time going their way here to start off this Hacienda hardpoint. And they've got players trying to threaten the rotation, threatening through the upper halls. This is exactly what you want if you're a fan of FSC.
Well, Rutgers, though, they will answer on back. You find a couple of those players in transition, but look who it is in the back. It's Carbonize. He's been able to sneak on through, finds a 1, just waiting on in the back here, forcing the Scarlet Knights to make sure that he's not able to pull some sort of cheeky little angle right now. But so far, they have gained control of the hard point. Trades will come on in. They'll stabilize for now as they get ready to answer on back. I like that they gave up that time off of the Lambo Hill to make their way here over to it's obviously paying dividends so far, but the Rams, it's 2 eliminations. They're going to open this one on up.
I mean, Carbonize is 7-4, yeah, not too far ahead of where Tez is at a bolster 7-5, Dan, sure. But, like, that play just flipping out the spawns immediately, all the Scarlet Knights were so focused what was coming away from P2, away from driveway, away from lobby. Carbonize is here to play. 9-4, already threatening the rotation, cutting through the middle of the map. What was supposed to be a Rutgers guaranteed at least 40 is now a 40-point lead in the Rams' favor.
Yeah, you set on up. You did all of this work, but Rutgers, we're watching it just basically collapse in real time. And we're even seeing that as the scrap time was ticking down on that last point. Rockets getting ready to come on up. And, well, the Rams, they've already made their way on over, but it's a full flood out through mid from the Scarlet Knights that will help get them on through. It's going to be a trade back on 4th. It's 2. Make it 3 in the kill feed. Can you find a full 4? Dead D-Boogie looking to make it happen. He's able to get there, but look, FSC, they are on the aggression, spawning on in over that Lambo side. It's going to be some early aggression, but Rutgers, they've been able to stick onto this hill. This would be crucial for them to get back into the game.
J-Hem is hitting a flank, and this timing is just going to force Evoke just to go godlike in the hard point. He wins the initial one, buys enough time for the spawns to fully flip. It's back 20 seconds, could be the difference if FSC starting to run away with it. Going in towards the second of Rutgers, fighting their way back in towards this hard point where it's all been the Rams through this first set, and it looks like it's going to be the latter here, Dan. Back 10 seconds, guaranteed. D-Boogie going to get said 10 seconds. And it's just about a 20-point game just between these two teams if you really do the math of it. Rutgers doing a good job here going in towards the second set, cleaning up house through the upper hallways. They got players in towards the time.
I love their ability to keep on into this because while we've seen some fantastic gunfights from the side of FSC, Rutgers not letting it get away from them. They've brought it back in to a 10-point game. J-Hem top halls. You try and manage to rip them off the point, but thankfully it's going to be off the back of Alendi. It's that trade, looks over towards you, finds one, and so far for Rutgers, it's a little bit of stabilization here in P1. Gaining some of these points. They'll take the lead for the first time so far here, but it's Tez. You're over at the Lambos. You get the stun. The check is on in. You're waiting for some of this teamwork to happen. If you are Rutgers, you fly on through. Tez finds one. Backs on up. Trophy will get invested. You're going to make them work for this point for sure. Holding these back spawns. But Carbonize is there to bring down Striker. A great answer back from FSC.
If you really go back and you dissect that first set of hills, Dan, the biggest difference was that P2 rotation. It was almost a guaranteed 50 seconds that the Rams did get off of this current hard point. So Rutgers trying to rectify that coming in towards this second hard point in the set, the second go of things. But Tez in the Lambo itself going massive. Farmingdale get the information that the spawn's a flip.
A little bit of a Tez versus Alendi, I feel like. Two absolute slayers. Yeah, Tez the turn, the burn. There's the third in the feed. Absolutely going crazy. Putting the squad on the back will hold that point on down for you. And look where Rutgers is spawning. You're kind of just spawning on out. We're seeing some of those arrows come on up, and they're turning their sights towards this outside. Can you catch any of these FSC players on the rotation? You are, but it's a little bit of trades coming on through, so it won't be for free. Look at Carbonize making some moves. Tez continuing 9 streak for him. Streaks on in. You're holding this guy in the back, and you find this elimination. You can't, but thankfully the trades are there.
Yeah, runs out of bullets. 7 spree will at least be enough for a 30-point lead now. The Rams flip the lead back again. They get the back off the spawns. They're in towards the backside of the shed, but the Scarlet Knights still knocking on by. Alendi with this top office control, looking to threaten the top patio. Runs out of ammo in the Jackal and just gets overwhelmed with numbers. Allows the Rams to push a little bit further forward here through the gardens, and the hill itself starts to build their lead just about a whole hard point or so by the end of this upcoming set. Got real scary there for a few moments, and you know that the Rutgers are not done fighting for the scrap time yet.
No, I mean, this is still, while the scoreline may look like it's a runaway right now for FSC, Rutgers definitely, it's all it takes is one hill, full 60 seconds to get them back on into this, and it could be this rock hill depending on how they play it. Gonna be Jayhem, slides on out, finds the elimination on a Tez. That's a huge pickup. You can see the spawns are coming on in. They're kind of just trying to bang this one from the front, as all 4 members of Rutgers will continue to hold this point. A little bit of split spawns, but it's number 6. They've been able to make their way on through. Evoke was trying to hit a timing. Alendi will stop that top hall. It's Jayhem. You catch Tez, I believe, maybe trying to call in that car. Just moving. It's not going to be enough. The hill's open for now, but you're still fighting.
It actually forces a lot of split spawns, the way that Jayhem just died the way that he did. A lot of Rutgers were actually on the unfavored side of this hard point, but Carbonize found himself a little bit of an opportunity all the way through the driveway side. That's where the Rams started to spawn. So Scarlet Knights' biggest moment to try to work their way fully back in towards a devastating set of hard points yet again in the Rams' favor. A 60-point lead. Carbonize just flanking for his life, staying alive, forces all the Scarlet Knights to force their way through the upper hallways. Even Carbonize staying alive, and the player actually lags out here. Farmingdale about a 60-point lead. Not too sure what the outcomes of that one's going to be, but Rutgers still find their way in nonetheless.
Yeah, we'll get some, word from production on where we're going to stick at for maybe that score line as a full replay. We'll get some word on that. But for now, we'll keep playing it on out. Do not worry. As FSC, we're being told it's a play on. So, all right, here we go. It's, FSC Rams, you're on up 50 points or 60 points rather. But how long are you going to be able to hold on to that in a 3v4? It was already so tough for you to be able to do it, but some signs of life here from Rutgers. If they can make it on happen, they've made their way onto P2, onto the third set here. You got Evoke flying on down, but it's all 3 members dead in the feed. Rutgers might have just been given a lifeline.
Yeah, I mean, you'd really think so. I mean, Tez is back. Hold on a second.
Okay.
I mean, Tez is back. Hey, you still got a 30-point. I was about to say, I mean, like, the way the kill feed was suggestive there, Dandruff, for a hot second, I thought that Farmingdale 3v4 were about to break P1. It doesn't happen. Still a 28-point gap going in towards P2 for the first time. All map 1 long, Rutgers are going to get the first possession of P2.
Definitely have to take advantage of it, and it will help put them back on into this game. D Boogie! Okay, 180 kickflip straight to the mouth is what that is, but Tez off of a reconnect comes back on in and drops a 3-piece. Says, my game's feeling a little weird, boys. I'll be right back so we can clutch this one on up. Does it, and just like that, it's a break, and the Rams, they've taken it by the horns here on P2.
What is this Hacienda map?
Dude, we don't know, man. You and I watched this in Black Ops 4, and we didn't know what was happening then.
Yeah, I mean, like, Lambeau Hill has been the Rams' playground. Rutgers going to have an opportunity to try to break this back open. FSC, though, massive lead for themselves, 215 to 193. Good 10 seconds to have for yourself if you are Rutgers here in this play-on moment. Rotation under threat. Carbonize has been a real pin into the side of the Scarlet Knights all Map 1 long. He's going to post up on the backside of the courtyard. It's going to force somebody to try to deal with him while the rest of the players here from the Rams try to flank all the way through the upper halls.
Carbonize. Can you make it happen here? You only need 35 more points. You could do it right now. You could put the map away, but with that, Rutgers, they're going to tie it on up, so it's going to be anybody's game here. Will it end on this point, or will we go one more? Fighting back and forth, two in the dead in the feed for FSC. Rutgers feels like for now they will get it. It's a hellstorm from Alendi coming on in, wants to put this map away. Can you find any elims? You'll at least get the information. Yeah, there's two. A third one in the feed as well. This could have been exactly what Rutgers needed. You have, I believe you might only be 1 point off. This is going to come down to the wire.
Not going to get the tick. Going to end up getting contested, but lost their life, but gained the lead. Plus the rotation towards the Rock Hill. D-Boogie's going to spawn out. He's going to have a perfect timing to flank through mid to try to break open this break attempt coming through from the Rams.
Pez, you find one, you're getting slippery, you find two, where's the third? Coming from mid, pistols in hand, the striker, it hits, but not like that, but thankfully you got Evoke there for the trade. You've been able to make your way back here onto the rock. FSC, not gonna let Rutgers get away with this one, but as that happens, Alendi slides on in. It's a team kill from Evoke that might open this one on up, but the spawns are out for Rutgers. They're just spawning in the back. You gotta move forward. What is happening? FSC, you might just be able to lock this one on up.
It almost looks like Jam and, yeah, D-Boogie, I mean, they might have lagged out. I don't even know. I mean, I'm willing to wager it's just good sportsmanship. Because, look, we lost Tez for, like, a good 40 seconds. So, like, they're just giving them the map one win, surely. Like,
sure.
Right? Like, this is COD Esports. Like, we're just good gentlemen.
I'm sure that's exactly what it was proper, and definitely not.
I'm a prophet.
Not anything else. We'll get word on what's going on there. I believe we were told it's over 200 points, so potentially it is just going to be a play on through. We'll get official word on that soon. But either way, I think we at least saw enough of the map to probably be able to break it on down and talk a little bit about it. Because it was definitely just sort of haymaker back and forth, right? I think it was basically Tez and Alendi were the two POVs that we were kind of watching that were popping two pieces and three pieces like it was nothing and really kind of breaking open some of those hills. And what that just kind of tells me, both of these teams, I think, are very well equipped to go very deep in the series.
Yeah, I mean, like, they were the walking highlight reel, most definitely. But, I mean, that's just because we never saw the Silent Assassin Carbonize just kind of get away with highway robbery. I mean, we kept on going back and putting massive conversation points in the leading that you did have if you are watching from the Rams' perspective. And a lot of that is because of Carbonize, finding really good flank opportunities, whether you're looking from P1 to P2, going from center of the map over towards the Lambo hardpoint, but then from 2 to 3, which is no hop, skip, and a jump away. You have to somehow find the timing all the way through the upper hallways, get through the upper office, or all the way through gardens, and try to upset that spawn through the bottom side of the office and in the back side of the patio. And Carbonize somehow found all those opportunities. So I think there's a real big problem, I mean, regardless of the outcome, if you're looking at this from the undefeated Rutgers perspective, is that Carbonize is constantly finding these timings on you.
No, I think it's something you have to keep in mind, especially as we get ready to move into a search and destroy. Timings are everything, especially on that Skyline. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a quick break, get some things sorted on the back end. We come back. We're going to be jumping on into that S&D. Do not go anywhere. This series is still going to heat on up. Welcome back, everybody. We're hopping immediately into this search and destroy. I guess we'll talk a little bit about what happened in that map number 1 after, but we got gameplay on our hands. FSC up 1-0 in this series, and we are on Skyline, and well, proper, we know how much of a bang out this map can be.
There was a map 1?
Yeah, at some point today there was.
What the f? When? All right. Scott, I mean, we were thinking of bang out, but I mean, 3v4. Offense got numbers. Nice play coming back from Tez. Even things up 3 apiece. That should keep the Scarlet Knights pretty honest here on their offense.
Lendy playing over towards Bomb. Still not down yet. Into the 3v3. It's Tez, though. He'll find a second in the round. That'll kind of open things on up. You're seeing Alendi maybe get a little too antsy here. Shots going on back. CDL Pubstar finds Striker. Now Alendi in the 3v1. We'll be able to find one just at the end of the round, but it's not enough. It's a quick 1-0 from FSC. A little bit of heat check from both of the two teams. to be able to, I guess, kind of feel each other out on this skyline. I feel like a lot of times we feel people come into these rounds and it's just like a full sprint at each other through mid. But a little bit more discipline, it feels like, from both of these squads.
I mean, you'd really think you got a 4v3. Things should be a little bit more elementary at that point. Round 1 shenanigans. Like, you got no trophy systems. Nades might be expunged at the early 10, 15 seconds or so. But where was the follow-up through top security? If you at least get that trade 3v2 at that point, you should get the bomb planted. But it's one of the Scarlet Knights are going to let get away from them. Offense coming through here for the Rams. Quick plan over towards A.
I like this. Rutgers really trying to work this outside. You saw them really kind of hold it on down. It's going to be a Lendy trying to make their way on through. Holding the backside will be FSC, but Tez gets found out. From Striker in the back. Alendi is a huge gunfight. If you can manage to happen, you do, and it's a full collapse right now from Rutgers. Moving on in. A couple of eliminations that'll come swiftly off the back of those trays while bomb was planted. A bomb does get diffused. So after a nice, clean round 1 from the Rams, the Scarlet Knights, they'll answer on back with their own swift fashion.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you said, really well planned out coming through from Scarlet Knights. You almost like think of like Skyline like a chessboard. If you're just watching the minimap, you give up A, you essentially flip that rotation, you get hot tub control. Get somebody pushing through bottom bedroom. That's exactly what Rutgers wanted. Might be because of the last round ended so early, so their trophy system users didn't accrue those yet. They didn't want to try to take that square up, so it works out wonderfully for them. Evened all things up. Looking for a little bit of aggression, maybe trying to get over towards B quickly here.
Lendy, one out. They're able to back him on down. You might gain control of this B bomb site. Jayhem playing down below, waiting for this timing from the teammates, makes his way on up, and you've slithered your way on through. Play alongside this elevator shaft. Look at that. It's a Lendy for 2 in the feed, and it's a full-on wrap from Rutgers.
I mean, that
teamwork.
was sick. That was sick. I mean, like, you aggressively get your stuns working through the skywalk, get all the way through the upper decks, all the way in towards the bomb site. You don't even have to plant the bomb. You just watch all points of ingress and play point of contact, but it was kind of like a death ball moving all the way across from top bedroom all the way in towards security. It was sick. Works out all wonderfully for Scarlet Knights. Yeah,
I mean, hitting the zip and somehow staying alive. You had that player out towards Platt watching for that type of cross, and just the shots just aren't there in time. It's just some quick movement, and you make that read that, okay, there's a guy out Platt. We're in the site for free. We know where we can kind of play the rest of this, and I think death ball, the word you used, was fantastic. But look at this. Speaking of death ball, it's a Lendy flying on forward, catches the timing, gets bombed down. Tez will answer on back, puts this into a 3v3. But for now, look at this. FSC a little bit scared, playing on the back foot right now. Rutgers really running with this.
Yeah, Lendy just in no man's land, not in a tradable position. Kind of leaves that kitchen bomb site pretty far open. Like that striker box. A little bit late towards this one. Tez going to be able to get that bomb plant. He gets away with his life as well. So 3v3 here. Post plant scenario. Hot tub control for D-Buggy trying to watch that cross, but all this post plant is inside a kitchen itself.
See some movements towards the top. 2 playing towards the back. If Tez maybe making a move up top. Evoke gonna win that gunfight in the back. Jayhem maybe tries to make the trade, but FSC in a post plant finds all the eliminations they need. I like how they decided to play that, where they get the bomb down and it's just like a full back off retreat. We're going to watch you try and move your way on into this bomb site, and we are just going to stop any movement you try and make. Very interesting post plant setup for them. I really like that.
Yeah, quite the opposite of what I said. Excuse me. Hey, all the post plant was outside of kitchen. You could literally watch it from this back patio, the way it was stretched in that post plant scenario. So FSC answer right things back up towards this round number 5. It'd be interesting. I mean, Rutgers on Skyline would love to keep up with aggression. Gonna look for this quick A plant, but there is some members nearby, but they just hit it. Big first blood coming through for Alendi.
Bomb goes up over the top bar. You're able to still stay alive, though. Great job playing your life. And look at this, JM. You jump around from the top through the gym. Come on over. Help the teammate reinforce this position. Bomb will start going on down. Got Evoke playing that backside. So if you do get a little bit aggressive here from Rutgers, definitely you will get caught. Right now, it just seems they are setting on up. CDL Pubstar gets taken on out from D Boogie on that outside. You got to understand that they're holding this one on through. All 4 members of Rutgers putting themselves in position. It's all up to Evoke into the 1v4. And I got to assume you try and make this hit towards the back. Definitely about to get red. What do you do? Boy, you got some shots on you, kid.
57 HP. Sees the next on hot tub. Hold on a second. 10 seconds. Reload. Full util, by the way. Full util, by the way. Not enough time, but damn, that was looking pretty good.
Yeah, maybe
let him have it.
Ace.
Oh, that would have been sick. That'd have been sick.
I'll say like 15, 20 seconds more on the clock. I actually can there's a semblance of he does it, right? Like it's, you know, you find that last elimination at bar and maybe you play up a little bit aggressive, try and catch the player on the timing, trying to slide on out, maybe make a trade on you. But Evoke, I mean, you're doing a great job. You reset some streaks across the board. I think that's the number one thing. You're feeling good about that. But still, it's back and forth right now between these two after, well, a hard point that went the same way. But Striker, he's going to be the one open this one on up. And Rutgers just light up the kill feed. Pubstar is going to be the last one in the back. But hey, you're not going to let that go down without a fight. It's a quick 2-piece. Bomb is kind of in Narnia for you. Rutgers, they have this idea of where you are and that all you got to do is hold this cross. But, I mean, we watched Evoke just almost pull off a 1v4, 1v2 for CDL Pubstar. Definitely in the cards.
Got full util. Exactly what Evoke didn't exactly take advantage of. Biggest difference is the time. His problem is where the bomb is dropped, right on that A bomb site. So, broken glass, gonna alert a couple players nearby. Shirley got one on the hot tub, one right below him. CDL Pubstar, though, trying to catch the timing. Running out of time, spots out the bomb. Finds the first, but not enough time to try to snap towards the second. Almost maybe you can get a drop shot if he fell maybe about 2 meters forward. Could be having a different conversation, but it's back-to-back clutch potentials coming through. And a 2-round lead now for the Scarlet Knights. Looking pretty darn good, and maybe try to tie things up here in this best of 5.
Would almost love to see him kind of play a little bit more, you know, towards the right on that ledge, clear out the back side of Hot Tub, because then at least if he finds the player that is Hot Tub, you know, he can kind of just do that full jump off that he wants to, maybe back on up, re-engage from a different angle, maybe getting a little bit antsy there towards the end. But good stuff. Signs of life from FSC for sure, but the problem is it's always a little bit too little too late in some of these rounds. Rutgers currently up 4-2 as they are on the attack, and it's Alendi continuing to try and push the aggression over here at Piano. But Tez, you're going to catch both of them. Easily put your team into a 4v2. Striker and D Boogie need to make some work happen, but you do not have bomb.
That bomb may be dropped. D Boogie, though, going to catch that timing through Jim. Next one, ready for the slide chow, but CDL Pubstar just had the HP advantage. So, Striker now, 1v3. Good lunch, have fries. Scouted out. Just one pump. We're good here. FSC gonna bring this back within 1. And it's like you said, I mean, just, it's the opposite hand. Now FSC quickly, off of their opening rep, they get that information via their util. Get those team shots, quick 3 dead. Even just the 2 as it may be in what, about like 10-second span. That's just Skyline S&D for you, everybody watching at home. Got ourselves just about a damn even game as things had more or less looked maybe minus about 40 seconds or so in map number 1, but still, Rutgers giving FSC a fair shake here.
Yeah, I mean, it may be a little bit of a little learning round, as I like to call it, for Rutgers in that last one. You had Alendi and Jayham just full sprint, and well, it was Tez with a nice, easy 2-piece. So hopefully reposition, though. You're seeing already an answer back from Rutgers as a blink of an eye. Before we can even talk about it, it's 3 dead in the feed. Going to be Pubstar, last one alive. Laying down towards the bottom tunnel. You catch Alendi on the slide in here, though. You have an Ames. You know you're going up against a Jackal. Strider in hand. He'll be able to back on up. I like the patience from Alendi. Don't overthrow your life. You've already had so many of these rounds that are 1v2s, 1v3s, that you've almost lost here. You'd love to go up into the 5-3, put this on map point. CDL Pubstar. Gotta try and make it happen. Get caught. Well, that Rutgers will put us on our map point here. Some patience leading them to a round win.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, the same thing works wonderfully as we just kind of praised Tez for.
Yep.
But it's Skyline Search and Destroy, right? I mean, you could either take the 50-50 bang out and square up through kitchen or wherever the Suns and Nades may garner said information, or just post up on head glitches with ARs. Typically off, the latter is going to benefit you the round, and that's exactly what Rutgers have been benefiting from. Back to back to back, almost back defenses now, and it's worked out wonderfully. Up towards map point, to your point here, Dan. Be a wonderful catch off of how things kind of shaking things up. Evo going to open things up with the car, try to get some information, open the doors up for the Rams, but doesn't really work out. Scarlet Knight's still going to get this bomb planted.
This is a very fast plant. I like it. You not get FSC the comfort to back on up, and Jayhem gets the bomb down and immediately starting to work through Jim here. You got Striker up at the top, so maybe you can kind of gain some of this aggression. Starting to see some movements happen on through, but Jayhem will strike on open from Jim. Striker finds Tez. Striker finds Evoke. That's a two-piece, and Jayhem puts the Omni movement to work off the top rope. Closes out the S&D as they take it on in a 6-3 fashion.
No trades there. I mean, Howie's just been able to plant the bomb, get in towards Jim. Nobody watching that cross. When you really think about what stopped the fast kitchen bomb plants, when the Rams were trying to get away with it continuously, the one thing that was always keeping in mind was that chess game that I was talking about. And that brings me back to almost like round 3, almost round 4, that when we saw FSC being able to win or being able to get that bomb planted, Rutgers just quickly flipped the pressure. And that's because they had those crosses already being watched. We didn't have that for FSC. We didn't have that counterplay. We didn't have that understanding, that dissection of what the offense is doing to get away with this highway robbery. It just felt like that Rutgers were playing a game of 4D chess and FSC were just stuck in 2D.
Well, I even think that's represented here looking at our screen by that bottom right triangle, right? Of our 9 total rounds, only one of them was FSC able to claim the first blood. So kind of just goes to tell me Rutgers definitely having a very solid plan of where they want to put themselves on the map and how to create a man advantage very early on. I think that was really what led to a lot of their success in some of these rounds. It was just you get that first early pick, and then FSC, they'd have to try and re-engage. They'd have to try and figure out how they want to play being a man down and being in those situations. There are a number of rounds where it was 1v3, 1v4. It was basically a flurry of kills that would just put us into that sort of situation that did not look great. But Rutgers coming on out after a sort of a heartbreaking sort of hard point there on the Hacienda. Well, they answer on back in the search and destroy, showing they have some signs of life. We're moving on over to Protocol Control. I know this is one that you and I are very excited to see boil on out.
Yeah, a guaranteed map for Protocol Hardpoint. Are we guaranteed to see that Hacienda map number 5? I really do hope so. I have a lot of fond memories of that map mode combination, but only these two teams can decide. Protocol Control will be, I mean, more or less maybe a continuation of what we got in between the first two maps. A lot of bang-on opportunities, a lot of good SMG prowess, and a lot of good patience being exemplified by some of these AR players. And a lot of good brain back and forth in between our two teams. But the one-up edge has been Rutgers, especially walking away from that Skyline Search and Destroy if you're watching at home. Kind of new to Call of Duty Esports. One thing that you can take away from the map 1 and map 2 going in towards this map number 3. Kind of control base, kind of respawn base. You are set with a certain number of lives, but you can kind of play things relatively wisely. Protocol Control will offer that with these longer lines of sight. Defensively, your ARs can be quite a nuisance for some of your more notable players to try to put yourself in a position to try to get further along across the entirety of the map. One good AR position can find that 2-piece, can find that 3-piece. You're right back to the respawn screen. I'm sure that's what Rutgers are probably thinking, what benefited them in that map number 2 to find themselves tied up here.
Well, let's even talk a little bit about it, because if you've kind of taken a little bit of a break from Black Ops 6 and you're out just kind of tuning into some competitiveness, we are on this new patch, right, where we have that B point has moved to that upper P2 area, which does give the offense a little bit more time to get to it. But to your point that you just made, it also makes it a much better point for the ARs to be able to look down and hold some of those power positions that are there. It does open up that bottom server area for your SMGs. maybe hit a timing, hit a route on through to be able to make that happen. But it's just going to be interesting, have these players been scrimming it? Do they understand how to play it, especially with these new additions coming on in here? One thing we also know that's very easy to happen on this map and control, you always have to take a look at that spawn trap that is able to come on through, or if you're able to kind of hold the team on in there, you can secure a round if you just play nice and tight as a team. You get that communication, making sure you're calling out. If anybody gets out of that spawn trap, you're able to bring them on down and put them immediately back on into it. It's something that we saw earlier in that last series, earlier today, on the vault control. The spawn traps came in very, very quickly, and I would hope to see the same here, that these teams are, they got the fundamentals. They understand how this map plays enough. You're able to throw a team into that spawn trap, really hold it on in, and get some fast, easy rounds.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of niche in that conversation. You're talking about like the patch and the change. We could talk about like the jackal change with like the whole muzzle and everything as well. Like how like the jackal got nerfed into the ground. It's like, whatever, man. Like jackal's still really good. Is what it is. At the end of the day, I think that here for protocol, the AR is still going to reign supreme until like on defense, you get that early life with an SMG, and yes, it becomes beyond hell. That spawn trap is egregious to fight against. We'll have to see how it all kind of pans out here on offense first. Will be the Rams. Rutgers trying to set up a very good defense to start things off here.
It's been 4 already going their way, and you're seeing already Jayhem trying to start the vice grip. You got D-Boogie playing out on that side, but it looks like for right now, FSC will not let this come on through very easily. I like this. Bang this out as a 2-man. There you go. Carbonize will open on up onto Striker, and they immediately makes their way into bottom server. Hit this zip. Maybe find a timing behind them. For right now, it's Rutgers really doing a great job holding on through. D-Boogie in the back, though. It's zaps all day. Be able to give you 2. Will get found on out, but you've now kind of started to throw FSC into a little bit of a tizzy.
Barely even lead. I mean, 24-20, down to 25 seconds, and the Rams have barely been able to leave their spawn. Quite devastating in quite a turn of events here. Just watch the kill feed for every single 1 kill that the Rams are able to find. Rutgers answer back with 2, sometimes 3 more. This is crazy scenes coming through, and the Rams need to answer back quickly as they're on both of the 2 zones. They're trying to threaten both.
Well, you're going to see number 3. It's going to be Carbonize. Has stepped off A. Tez playing over there towards that B. So I think this is enough of to kind of start pulling your attention away if you are Rutgers. But what has me worried is it's only 1 player on each. So yeah, you take down 1 on 1 point. You find the other on the other point, and the 2 remaining teammates, well, they're kind of left in spawn a little bit. Oh, Evoke playing up here towards the top, trying to make something happen. But Rutgers, they don't let it slip by them. Pretty solid round number 1.
Yep. I mean, yeah, for sure. But typically, you see like maybe one of the 2 zones being captured, even towards the tail end, towards even like all the way up towards the top of the CDL. Like we'll see at least like one of the 2 zones being captured. But that spawn trap, those trades, like the lives were never too far gone. Like maybe like a whole set of respawns like Rutgers had over the Rams at one point, sure. But like it's just the trades, man. Like when you get that like line of scrimmage past the 25-yard line, if you're breaking things up by 75 percentiles here on the mini-map, it's just really difficult to try to combat it again. So now the Rams will try their hand at that, and the Scarlet Knights were just ready for it, Dan. Are you kidding me? What a kill feed.
The swords have been unsheathed as they've made their way out of the spawn trap and onto the B point, and it's off of the work of the man on your screen right now, Alendi, going absolutely crazy. The shots get a little windy there, though. Inside bottom tower, you try to do your best to stay alive, but thankfully FSC, they will answer on back. So you did all of this work, but you will get cut on down. You've made some great progress over towards A, though. Time has been stopped. Still got a minute on the clock. Just need a little bit to get off there. You're going to clear this out if you are the Rams.
Pretty sure I just saw a knife kill on the kill feed, and I think Rutgers are just starting to have a little bit of fun with it. Carbonize, though, went back towards that map 1 antics, what we saw in the early first 60 seconds. Kind of gassing up that young man as we were going in towards that map 2. Came a little bit of shadow of that map 1's pass, and still a pinstripe kill feed. Not going to be good enough. FSC still have a 1 life lead. At least your one benefit, if you're looking at it from the Rams' perspective, is that Rutgers do need to get on towards one of these zones. primarily A. That is where their most progress has been built so far, halfway towards that last segment being completed.
And I like how FSC's, they decided to play this one on up. You can see they basically split the map in half horizontally rather than vertically, making sure that, hey, if they get on either of these points, we're going to be able to kind of turn our sights, be able to bring them on down. Carbonite's doing a great job. If you get in some tags on that player, you make the call out with the teammates, but don't lose this position here. Tez continuing to play on towards B, but it looks like while all that chaos was unfolding, Rutgers, you're able to capture A. You get some time back onto the clock. It's going to be a minute left to play. It's 16-12, though. Kill favor for the Rams. Definitely not enough to kind of consider start playing TDM, but gives you at least a little bit of the cushion that you need to start bringing this one on through as Tez rips you off the zip line. Thankfully, Alendi is there to be able to make the trades, but whew.
My hipfire doesn't do that. I'm just like, we were all thinking it. I'll be the first to say it. Why? Because I have a microphone and you guys don't. Ha, suck it. Anyway, fantastic turn of events coming through for FSC. You said at one point, maybe it's not a time to be thinking about TDM. I think it most definitely is. I mean, Rutgers are kind of
now
forced
it is, yes.
back towards that point. You just got to throw bodies at it. I mean, talk about how the B zone might have been moved, but the problem still stands is that, like, you go from high ground positioning advantage to middle ground to just giving it up and dropping all the way down. And FSC have been playing that wonderfully. It just kind of make it like a kill box type perspective, 8 versus 2. Just finding this last handful of players, Striker and D-Boogie versus the world of FSC. And though they might try to make an argument for it, will be a round win. Rutgers going to be feeling pretty darn skippy about themselves with their segments up progression at least being captured. Thought there for a second we might see like last second hurrah of that segment being captured, but won't be the case. But 1-1 goes the game.
If you're Rutgers, you're feeling at least good about that one, like you mentioned, where, yes, you didn't win the round, but you definitely got the ticks, and you've put it into your favor. Your defense felt very, very good. You know, it's been a little bit of conversation on some of these control maps where it's like, wait, maybe having offense is actually better. Not the case for Protocol, that is for sure. You love having defense here, so get those ticks, do what you can. Even though you've traded here in the rounds, Rutgers up in those ticks that they were able to snag. So we'll come back on in onto this defense. Hopefully they can hold FSC to what they did in that first round. If you're FSC, hopefully you've had some communication as a team. What did we do wrong in that first round? What can we do better here to get out of this spawn trap? Communication has to come on in.
Adaptations weren't their strong suit going back towards that map number 2 not too long ago, looking to be the exact same, of the aggression starting to benefit the Scarlet Knights once again in towards their spawn. Alendi's already found an avenue forward, causing a little bit of a ruckus. He's all the way up top. This is a timing down low. A little bit of a jump scare, but the trade's still going to be there regardless, and it's the same problem, just in a different round.
So far, they've been able to somehow get out for now. The Rams starting to make their way on over. Look at this. Carbonize doing a great job. Some patience coming on through, saying, can I catch anybody on in? And maybe this opens up this B point for us. You make your way here to top grandma's. You clear it out. Nobody in the windows. Okay, great. Alendi across the way in trips. Might be able to start getting some of these elims, but no, Tez will cut you on down. Does not let you hold this position. Progress coming in over towards A.
Yeah, able to get that first segment. Jam trying to at least flip the pressure on the opposite side. They get that player off the A zone, so the clock will tick all the way down. D-Boogie's in a very far forward position, so you're going to spawning awkward if you are the Rams. Would love to try to fight through your building, but they're looking to at least try to flip back over towards A. Try to work that second segment. They will be able to get it. Nice sudden text coming through from CCL Pubstar. The stack is also coming through, so Rams in a really good position to try to add 60 seconds. I mean, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights are going to offering a lot of free kills, and it's going to offer the Rams 60 seconds plus a life lead, albeit small.
You like the capture, and you like the immediate move on over from Evoke. Try and play in that back spawn. He'll actually find D-Boogie. That's 3 down in the feed. You're seeing them fly towards this point here, but it's Alendi who will cut down Carbonize. Striker in hand. Can you maybe find another one? You can at least soften them up enough for D-Boogie to come off the spawn and be able to bring them on through. So you had an opportunity, if you were the Rams, to convert on into this point. But it got a little hectic, a little crazy. So far, though, you've been able to have it. If you are Rutgers, you're a little bit wide right now. Wait for these spawns. Figure out how you want to move as a team. Alendi, trigger discipline coming on in. You catch CDL Pubstar. It's the zip. Are you going to follow from behind? Can you manage to find him? Do you make this read correctly? You do. A great wrap that's there will give you sights down onto the point. A huge gunfight for Alendi to win. His striker in the back will also answer. You don't let them get this extra tick, but already the fact that they got one tick is definitely boding well for the Rams. They still contain a life lead right now.
You are feeling really good about this if you are the Rams. 40 seconds remain. You just have to try to keep a foot over towards that zone. Got players pushed up far forward. Just trying to keep tabs on where Alendi and Jayhem are located at, because they have been a thorn in towards your back line continuously. On the 3 in the feed. 7 spree combined between Alendi and Jayhem. 2 lives, 8 apiece. We're back towards square one. You just got red arrows just running routes in towards your spawn. Tez does lineup too, but it's looking like an all but ending towards this round. Unless the kill feed continues to light this way. 5v4, no respawns for the Knights.
Got 10 seconds. They're making it tough, though. They're holding these headies. It's not going to be easy to make it out of here. D-Boogie will cut down CDL Pubstar. Evoke is there. Tez will be able to find
3v3?
one. Can you trade this on in? 3v3. 2 ticks. Oh, just barely. You don't get the second tick, actually. No, it was so close. Rutgers, though, definitely not as clean as your round number 1. That is for sure. I feel like the Rams woke up a little bit.
Adds a little bit of severity to this upcoming defense, right? I mean,
Yeah.
You are Rutgers. Like, you were kind of thinking off that initial, like, foolish hold on that first round that, like, we should be guaranteed if this goes round 5, we should at least have that round 5 defense. Maybe not so much. To your credit, like the Rams are definitely waking up a little bit. We're starting to see some of these routes coming through from Carbon Eyes. We're starting to see Tez being able to find these 2 pieces. Because realistically, it's just Rutgers in the trade department. And the biggest thing that kind of put Rams, like, their biggest foot forward in that map number 1 was their 2-piece, their 3-piece, their explosivity. That was missing until that round. We'll have to see if this is a continuation.
Carbon Eye is going to be the one opening that up. It is 4 tiers to 3 tiers captured. So if you are Rutgers, you just need 2 segments in order to secure that defense that's there. So you kind of getting some sort of a solace for that dominating round number 1, but it's still not a guaranteed, right? That's the number 1 thing, especially when you have FSC putting you into this spawn trap. 2 will go down, though. Carbon Eye's answers on back, making sure you stay in your hole, buddy. You're not allowed to come on out of here. Okay, but you maybe overheat just a little bit. Jayhem finds you here towards the top and starting to make some moves.
Starting to work its way down towards the guns. A progress being worked on as well for Rutgers. They got the stack. This third segment's going to be worked on pretty quickly. Nades, though, going to abolish all of the trophy systems. Jayhem, though, on a 6 spree. Not going to be having any more, though. The A zone will be captured. 21v19 in the Scarlet Knights' favor. With an extra 60 seconds. Look at all the space on the minimap as well. Striker for 2.
I mean, you find those, eliminations. And I like this. Alendi just in the back. Getting some good shots in off the spawn. But it's 3 dead. You're kind of maybe okay if Alendi goes down playing that aggressive there. But to watch 2 of your other teammates get dropped in the back, it's very, very tough.
What?
Evoke kind of put, down in here. The trophy, it's an interesting one. Maybe a little bit of a panic use, trying to stay alive there. But hey, power positions. Do what you got to do to stay alive, man.
You need a buddy just to keep yourself in the crevasse there on the wall on the outside of protocol. But as the time stands still, just 60 seconds. 2 life lead. This is a really good position if you are FSC. I mean, if you could try to wipe as many lives away, try to work your way towards streaks, could help yourself out. But Scarlet Knights find their way forward. They stall out that clock. Nobody from FSC nearby to try to stall this one out.
Jayhem, that's huge too. D-Boogie made rain point. The stack is in. Here's the trophies. You got to throw everything you have. I don't know if it's enough. Rutgers, off of a flurry of eliminations, they answer on back with a 3-1 here in the control. We kind of saw that the Rams were waking up a little bit. A couple of those other rounds, it was looking all great. FSC doing everything they needed, but when it came down to this attacking round, it felt like Rutgers maybe fully realized what they needed in that previous round to clutch it on out, and it's basically just some solid teamwork out of them to come on through and be able to clutch up that round.
They need to go back and really dissect what happened, because the moment that the majority of all of Farmingdale did spawn up, there was somebody from the Scarlet Knights that posted up towards the middle of the cuts. And they posted up and kind of stalled out all four. Like, they went 1-for-1, and all three players were kind of stalled out in that middle choke point instead of trying to, I don't know, hit a route or somebody trying to hit through that outer lane. They might have been worried, or maybe there was like a stun or a nade that like stalled them out. But either way, big swing map mode combination comes through from Rutgers. They have the segment lead. They get a full hold in their opening defense. The aggression looked really good on them as well. The spawn trap was egregious, but well executed. And in the objective game modes, they find themselves now here in an edge in this best of 5.
Yeah, I mean, it was a heartbreak in that hard point to kick us on up, but it was a clean search and destroy. It's a clean control to bring them up into this series 2-1. We're sticking on protocol, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to move on into the hard point. I gotta say, Rutgers looked pretty good, at least in the control when it came to this map. Hardpoint, we know it's a little bit of a different beast. But that map 1, I can tell you, was an absolute slugfest between these two teams. So I'm sure this will be a fantastic map. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna be jumping on into that protocol. Hardpoints, so don't go anywhere. I got plenty more college COD right after the break. Welcome back, everybody. It's Rutgers Esports taking on Farmingdale State College, the Rams. So far, well, the Rams came out swinging hot and heavy with that map number 1, Hacienda Hardpoint, but it's been kind of a masterclass the past 2 maps from Rutgers in both the search and destroy and that control. We're moving back on over to the Hardpoint, a chance for the Rams to equalize here proper. As we get ready to hop on in the protocol, what do you hope to see from Farmingdale for them to keep into this series?
It's going to be tough here, Dan. And the majority of the reason begins through the methodical gameplay of what we got through Rutgers Esports. It's like you already said, like Hacienda went through the Rams' favor. Why was that? A lot of the pressure and aggression was by way of the SMG. But through the Skyline Search and Destroy and through protocol control, we've seen kind of like a reserve notion coming through from Rutgers Esports, where they've been kind of taking a step back and not necessarily in full-on aggression, but waiting for their initial gunfights to come through from the Rams, expecting where those gunfights are coming from, winning said gunfights, and then becoming aggressive. It's that 3-step process that the Scarlet Knights have on the edge in the past 2 maps that FSC in this post-break for this map number 4 need to rectify should they want to push it to a map 5.
I think that was one thing that we saw beautifully in that map number 1 is stuff that you just mentioned. While yes, it didn't go into their favor, it was 250 to 244, right? Like we're talking one gunfight difference there and potentially the map being a different change.
Yeah.
But I think it was a lot of that, exactly what you said. It was like being able to control that tempo and momentum and understanding how do they want to set up on the map, understanding when do they need to play aggressive, can they kind of go ahead and hold on back. And Protocol's a big enough of a map that, you know, if you're able to kind of make a break, you hold down a point and you catch some people coming off spawn, trying to maybe, you know, sprint over towards new, you can buy yourself a lot of time in doing that. And so that's the one thing that I think Rutgers has been doing really well, is kind of thinking a little bit ahead. They're thinking to that next point. How do they set on up through? But the thing that I'm kind of looking at for me is that one thing what FSC has been great at has been kind of just pulling out these magical Houdini 2 and 3 pieces, right? To kind of keep them into the game. It's been people like Tez, who's kind of been going huge for the squad here and breaking those hills almost sometimes single-handedly. And so I think if FSC can really convert off of some of those big play moments from some of their players, it can be really hard for Rutgers to get back on into this.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at 3 and 4 to be really big for those moments where you could have big players kind of drop these big 2-3 pieces that could try to flip hardpoint decisions, being in between 20s to 30s, sometimes maybe even being about 50s. But these methodical ARs, you'll see sometimes full 60s come through from P2. All really depends, starting off on the favorite side, will be FSC. So we'll have to see what they can do with this going in towards this ever so crucial map for it.
Well, already it is a pinstripe kill feed off the break. D-Boogie, though, playing on this turret. He'll be able to find CDL, Pubstar, top trips as well. Another player gets found as well. So that's all of your verticality, power position taken on out. It's going to be Alendi, the superstar sub right now for Rutgers, who's been having a fantastic series already. A lot of hype in the chat for him. Everybody's excited to see them pop on off. But, you know, this P1, it's kind of whatever points you get, you feel good about it to start the map. So far, Rutgers will gain a nominal amount here, but it's all about this P2 and how you want to set on up.
Yeah, and then Scarlet Knights just kind of I don't know, aggress? Kind of open up the spawn in towards the back, and all of the Rams just kind of spawn in towards behind. I don't even know if they were prepared for that to even be an option, but it comes true, and they kind of get that rotation over towards New scot-free. They'll take that lead, albeit by abysmal amount. D-Boogie up through the back P2 stairs. We'll go 1-for-1. Kill feed will remain in Pinstripe favor, and those back spawns will remain secure. Melendi might have gotten a rogue spawn, though, and I don't think that they were going to be prepared for that. Just protocol hardpoint shenanigans, and yeah, Rutgers going to be able to benefit from just such an affair, and they break right back in towards the time.
Yeah, it's a full 4 dead for FSC, and it's an immediate conversion onto a lot of points there. So far, hanging on down. D-Boogie doing a great job with this AR in hand, just ripping people out of these windows, not allowing them to set on up. Evoke in the back, a couple shots there. Somehow he's able to play his life, but it's going to be Jayhem pushing up Spiral. Gain some of this control, and while Scrap, yes, will go into the favor of FSC, it's going to be New popping on up. We're starting to see trophies come online. Rutgers, they're starting to set themselves up. They really want to milk this P3 as you come on through. Evoke, though, going to do a great job. You find one. It's the snap towards top zip. Almost snagging another.
Just really good moments coming through from Rutgers, but then you saw the explosivity, those moments that I was kind of hinting at that we've been missing since map 1. Finally coming through, though. Jayhem in towards the back. Just when I start gassing up the Rams, Rutgers and Jayhem just rip it right back. Those spawns right back into their favor. And this is still good time here, Dan. It's so early on. TK might be there, but Rutgers still in towards the time, and they still maintain the spawns.
Yeah, they're maintaining spawns. You have all of this time. D-Boogie down in server, trying to be able to maybe open something up, catch people that are there. But right now, FSC, they're playing a little bit ahead. They've dropped on down and through. They will give the rest of this time to Rutgers, but I like the setup already. Looks like they have a couple trophy systems of their own. We know how tough it can sometimes be to root out a team once they've set on up here, but it was a signs of life a little bit for Rutgers, but 3 dead in the kill feed. D-Boogie from outside will at least be able to find one. Okay, wait, a little bit of lethal, a little bit of utility here might help open this on up. You soften Carbonives enough to slide on in.
D-Boogie, though, gonna overheat it just a wee bit. Carbonive is gonna get a very interesting kill there. Let you guys go ahead and just think about what just happened there in the kill feed. But a big moment from the Rams nonetheless is that they're finally able to turn this in towards their favor. Should be a lead swap. Carbonize up towards 5 in a row. Could be working towards streaks. Nope, never mind. Will be dead. Rutgers, though, trying to give one last hoorah towards the end of this first set of hard points. Was a big back and forth. And just about a dead even game going in towards the second.
It's kind of what we saw, though, with the Hacienda. It was all about basically the second rotation when we came on into it. And D-Boogie continuing to just rip people at range, aims in hand, but Tez with the sub. I mean, everybody doing their job right now. Jayhem with a 2-piece. Everybody's pulling combos out right now. I'll tell you that much. 14-5 for Jayhem. Absolutely feeling good. Make your way towards top trips. You bring down this player. Can you find one more off of the spawn? The shot's getting a little shaky.
Yeesh.
Railing eat most of that, but thankfully Striker's here for the trade. As Rutgers, it's been a decent amount of time here, P1, but you have all of this work that's going on in, but look at the spawns come on through, and it's the Rams. They just take over.
Yeah, they sure do. I mean, if 50-50 does go P1, but, like, what was your biggest, like, turning benefactor when it was in that first set of hard points? For me, it was, like, Rutgers being able to flip towards that P3. So I think that if that doesn't happen, FSC are probably sitting with maybe about a 20-point lead, but it's still just about dead even. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that this game is just on thin ice, brother. And there's really just going to be that one big decision that could be the difference in between this being a 3-1, Rutgers staying undefeated, or Farmingdale potentially pushing this towards a map 3, or map 5, excuse me, as we end up having a dead even game yet again. P2 will pop Rutgers in towards the time. Want to try to anchor out those spawns better than what they did in towards the first set, but FSC just break onto the front.
D-Boogie was cooking the grenade, gets killed while doing it, and while the teammate is there for the trade, Alendi slides forward, trying to take back that spot, not realizing there is a dead nade at his feet. So TK will come on through. That'll give Tez an opportunity to sit here for a little bit, at least long enough for the teammates to come on through. You start to see these spawns come on up for Rutgers. They gotta run from a little bit far away. Thankfully for Jayhem, he's going to catch some in the back. Hopefully open up this map for your team to start making some of these moves. And yeah, that's exactly what you want to see. Rip them off old. Make sure they're not able to set themselves up for that new hard point.
I mean, like, just look at all FSC. They're so scared. You essentially had like 2, maybe 3 players trying to anchor towards the back, because that's exactly what Rutgers did towards the first set. It's just like I said, Tan. Like, all of the Rams had to spawn, and then Rutgers, right when the moment matters, they just flip the spawns, they flip the progress. But FSC just right back through the front, they find themselves a better kill feed. At least get that threshold back in their favor. They're back in towards the time. Scrap time should be secured. The Scarlet Knights have to look towards new. This time, they're staring down the barrel of a 20-point deficit.
Yeah, I think this was kind of, we were waiting for that one breakout moment, and I think we just saw it. FSC able to break on into that hard point. They gained so much time, but they're already dropped in here down towards server, trying to make it happen. CCL Pubstar catches one on the ladder there, trying to maybe get a little bit too fancy, and yet again, it's another team kill with the nades, but I don't know if it matters. We got D-Boogie pulling up a huge 2-piece here. You got lethals, you got tacticals. Rutgers, they've been able to make their way onto this point. It was a great setup from the Rams, but it was all for naught. D-Boogie goes huge. The rest of the team floods on in. They are set up to bring this back in their favor.
Just on one of those moments, man. D-Boogie this time for Rutgers, it shows up in a massive way, and that means that Rutgers can now make this yet another even game. Protocol Hardpoint just delivers another lead swap. What is that, like the 4th, maybe 5th time?
Yeah.
D-Boogie trying to finesse his life. Hardpoint time will remain in the Scarlet Knights' favor, though Tez nearby, just down low, over by Spiral, will try to move forward towards the pistol, finds 2, still a 50-50 down low, 4p4. We go towards a 3rd set of hardpoints, just a 12-point lead for the Scarlet Knights. Over towards new, though. Think about the rotations. What was the biggest benefactor? It was just, again, P3. FSC able to get that 20-point lead, but Rutgers still maintains said lead going in towards new, what they still generate time.
I mean, look at this, though. Rutgers doing a great job getting some of these early eliminations that will help lead them in the time. A 3 dead in the feed, but the trades are still coming on in. So if you're FSC, you've ripped them off the time for now. You made your way on in. This is huge opportunity for you to just kind of bring back a little bit of that lead as P2 will start to pop. But Alendi, slowly but surely, you army crawl your way onto the point. You contest it. You pop on up. You find that one. A little bit of time here. You'll cross that 200-point mark, and that will put you onto the downslope of this map. You're starting to finally gain a lead. If you are Rutgers here, you'd love to close it out here. You don't want to go to the search and destroy. Ended on the protocol hard point.
It's the route man, Carbonize. He's all the way through. Look at Jam. He's searching for a ghost. And Pubstar just cleans up one back through mid. You got yourself about a 40-point lead, but you got to deal with CDL Pubstar top inside of Grandma's. D-Boogie trying to hit routes, force spree, cut down, Evoke for 3. Evoke looking for more, so 100 HP up towards a force spree. Gets a read on number 5. I mean, Rutgers, they might have the better spawns, but FSC have this in a chokehold.
I like this. Evoke doing a great job, just kind of weaving back and forth in this area, being just an absolute thorn in the side. Thankfully, Jayhem will answer on back with a 2-piece, but it is just more eliminations. Everybody going huge in this map. It is just 2-piece after 2-piece after 2-piece from so many of these players. But after a quick back and forth, the Rams bring it back to a 25-point game, but Rutgers has made their way onto the point. Final seconds will tick on out. New pops on open. Rutgers, they've been able to hop on in, but it's not going to be for free. Kills going back and forth in the kill feed. D-Boogie holding on in. We're getting ready to the last final 25 points, but it's definitely still possible. for FSC to cut this one on back. CDL Pubstar for a big 2. Carbonize. The shots are there. You get 1 barrels. Okay, you've started to hold this one on into your favor.
Yep, just about a 30-point game now. FSC, they got the back spawns. Watch player number 5, CDL Pubstar, needs to stay alive. He's anchoring the back spawns. Pinstripe kill feed. Jayhem finds a kill up top. It's now Rutgers' hard point to gain, but there's not enough time to win here. You still got to think about new.
It's going to be a quick last final few seconds. CDL Pubstar already trying to be that tip of the spear. Will get shut down immediately from D Boogie. Jayhem brings on down another evoke. You find maybe 2 in the back. There's 1, but it's not enough. The shots get a little windy there. You get cut on through. 20 seconds remaining for Rutgers to close this one on out. Striker doing a great job. Finds 1. The trades should be there. They are. That's 3 down for FSC, as they are trying to just fully fly at this point, but you have to wait for all 4 of your members to come on up. You have 5 seconds. You have to fly on in. You gotta go, but it's Alendi holding it on down in. Will be the wall. Stops them in their place. Rutgers Esports take it in a 3-1.
Not the reverse 3-0. Wow. I mean, Rutgers, I will call a spade. I mean, that map number 1, everybody, admins included, truly did think Farmingdale, they won that by a landslide. It was close by score, but through some other theatrics, it was a 1-0 lead going in towards the Skyline Search and Destroy. Wipe your dirt off the shoulders if you're the Scarlet Knights out of Rutgers, because the next 3 maps were just yours to truly play. And even in certain moments in that protocol hardpoint, like we kept talking about how the Rams had moment after moment where like you had Carbonize being the route man, finding a lot of value. You had players just stepping up in massive ways, finding those 2 sprees, those 3 sprees, just required to keep themselves alive. But it's just the fundamentals, man, that just really goes to right on home if you are the Scarlet Knights, whether you're a fan, a family member, or just one of these team members listening back to this. These fundamentals have carried them such a long way here, Dandro, in these back 3 maps, just to be able to win the way that they did. These rotations were so sublime. Their team shots were so good. Just understanding on a gunfight to gunfight basis, it's just enough data for me to understand why they are 6-0.
I gotta be a huge shout out. D Boogie in that protocol hardpoint was absolutely shooting. Not just only finding those 2 pieces like we mentioned, but finding very, very critical kills exactly when the team needed them. It was always this, pinstripe kill feed, is like to say, it's just back and forth, but it's always D Boogie getting that 1 maybe final elimination that opens up the map and allows them to convert onto a lot of those points that are there. Rutgers playing great, fantastic, fundamental COD here across these 3 maps that are there. That first hard point, well, they're going to have 1 notch on their map set, but they will stay undefeated 7-0. That'll drop FSC to a 4-3. Definitely maybe not what they would like. It looked like it was possible that maybe they were going to be the first team to upset Rutgers, but today was not that day. Fantastic series overall, though, proper.
Yeah, no, it absolutely was. I mean, we got delivered on all the goods. You almost have to think if it goes towards map 5, like what that was going to look like for Carbonize. He was hitting routes on Hacienda, man. You almost have to speculate, but it may not be. Rutgers, just when it comes down to fundamentals, you got a 2-2 setup, 3 ARs, watching long lines of sight, not allowed to get away with some aggression. I think that this entirety of a Northeast Atlantic just got put on watch. Definitely got to watch out for what these Scarlet Knights are putting together, man.
It's definitely a couple teams we have to keep on our radar as this redivision shuffle is about to come on in here very soon. But that's our 3rd and final map of the night we got for you. It was 3 great series we got to watch here today across the College COD League. If this is maybe your first time tuning in, you want to learn more, definitely come see what's up on social media at College COD. We'd love to have you on over there. Keep up to date with all the scores and all the maps and get to know we're here. We're here every Monday and Tuesday night, ladies and gentlemen. So always lock on in because it is always a fun time here. But that's all we got for you here today. So I'm Dandro. That's proper. And we will see you next week for more College COD week number 5. Definitely be there or be square or be whatever other shape you'd like to be. Just be here. That's the important part.